start. And thank you all for making time to join our webinar this afternoon, this morning, or this evening, depending on where you are. This is about number 6 or number 7 that we've done over the last couple of months, but we've been doing webinars like this for the last 9 months, actually, all around the world. Great tool. I know we complained a little bit about this in the early part of the call, but it's proven to be a great way for us to engage with Rotarians, give you an opportunity to ask us questions about Calgary, and give us an opportunity to share the pride that we have in hosting this convention, which is just a matter of days away now, not weeks. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a slide deck, and I am going to introduce one of our 2 fearless leaders at the Calgary Host Organizing Committee, and his name is Craig Stokey. And Craig is going to kind of walk you through the slide deck, and then we're going to take you for a tour of the website. We're going to spend most of our time on the website. For Martin, I'm going to show you where Paul Brandt is. And then what we're going to do is give you a chance to ask some questions. And typically we get all of this done within an hour. So with that, are you ready to go, Craig?
Absolutely.
All right, you're up.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you all for joining us here today. And thank you for coming to Calgary next month. We're 36 days away, which sounds absolutely crazy to me, because on August the 15th, this will be 10 years for me. We have
to mute people.
Yeah, if everybody could mute their devices, please.
There you go. Yeah, I should have done this one. You'll have to unmute, Craig. Sorry, I muted everyone.
Oh, there you go. Thanks. No, I was just saying that 36 days seems very crazy to me, considering on August the 15th, it will be 10 years since we started this journey. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of excitement, and our city is really, and Rotarians are really getting excited and ready to welcome you. So we appreciate that you're coming. So as Darcy said, my name is Craig Stokey, and Mark Starrett, who is in Athens, Greece right now, is my co-chair, and he's a past district governor. The district that we are in is 5360. And basically where that goes is basically the middle of our province of Alberta, from about Red Deer down to the US border, and a little bit of Western Saskatchewan as well. So this district covers a big geographic area, and it's a really great Rotary community. Next slide. So the premise of what we're talking about is you're already here, and we'll get into that in just a second. We're going, like we say, we'll go through the Rotary Calgary 2025.org website, which has a ton of information, and should answer a lot of your questions and prepare you for your trip to Calgary. And yeah, we're going to have an opportunity there to answer any questions that you may have. And, please feel free to ask them, because what ends up happening is something that you're thinking about is probably something that other people are thinking as well. So, either put them in the chat, or, we look forward to, putting up your hand, and Darcy and Linda will take care of you. So one of the things for our American friends, once the exchange rate today between the Canadian and the US dollar makes things very affordable for people that travel to Canada. Of course, you're buying your registration and any of your signature events and such in US dollars, but everything else, the hotels, the restaurants, the food, everything else that you purchase in our city is at a very strong exchange rate. I think that today, I think it's about $1.37 Canadian for each dollar US. So it's very, very strong that way. and you know, for many currencies around the world as well, Canada is a very good buy for you. Now, when we talk about you're already here, Rotary has a very strong. It's been in Calgary for over 110 years. So, of course, starting in Chicago, one of the next. Can everybody else hear? I have no audio.
I can hear.
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just got a text saying that the audio wasn't working. So, of course, Rotary started in Chicago, and the first international club was in Winnipeg, which is just north of Chicago on the Canadian side. But it came to Calgary, you know, over 110 years ago, and it has a very strong presence here. You know, we've done some really big projects. One of them, which we hope you experience, is the Rotary Mattamy Greenway, and it says here it's a 138-kilometer network. It's a little deceiving because it's actually 138 kilometers around the outside, and then there's spokes that go through it, and it's literally, you know, thousands of kilometers of bike paths and parks, which is the largest in North America, and it's really an amazing experience. We have Rotary Challenger Park, which is an all-inclusive space where people from all ages and abilities can gather. Like I say, there's a lot of really big projects. Okay, next. And Calgary is a very unique city. It's a very new city. When you take a look at it was actually founded as a town about 150 years ago. And it was founded as an outpost for the the Northwest Mounted Police, which is pre the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And what they were here for actually was to stop they were put here to stop the alcohol trade from coming up from the United States. And from the little Fort Calgary that was put there, it's grown into a very metropolis city. But a lot of that growth has come in the last, you know, really since about the 1960s, 1970s. A lot of, when you come here, a lot of the downtown buildings, a lot of the city is very new. It's very modern. But the thing that's really unique about Calgary is that it really maintained its old Western heritage and its Western feel. Many years ago, back in 1912, there was a gentleman, his name was Guy Wiedeck, who came up to Calgary, and he decided that he wanted to put on the best rodeo in town, or in the world. And he was able to talk four prominent Calgarians into putting up $25,000 each, which in 1912 was a whole lot of money, and put together a $100,000 pot to have a rodeo. And they thought it was going to be a one-time shot. So they thought, let's go all out and just put on an amazing show and go with a bang. Well, it kind of caught on, and it's turned into the world famous Calgary Stampede. But because it was an event that was put on the event was much bigger than our city at the time. So what happened was everybody in the town of Calgary got behind this event, and really the entire city has grown up with it. Right now, the Calgary Stampede has about 3,700 year-round volunteers, and during the Calgary Stampede, which happens in July, about a week after our event ends, you know, there's thousands and thousands of volunteers and people come here from all over the world for the largest money rodeo in the world. So we really hope that when you come, you have an opportunity to come up and visit and stick around and visit the Stampede. But the Western heritage is definitely there. But if you're looking for the finer things and the fancy dining, and that's here as well. Next slide, please. So Calgary has some bragging rights as well. We have been noted as one of North America's top sustainable travel destinations. We're the third most diverse major city in Canada. There's 240 ethnic origins reflected here. And also, we were voted the world's friendliest city and by travel magazines. Anytime that you look at listing of the top cities in the world, the most livable cities in the world, Calgary is always right up there. It's right up at the top, within the top 10 for many, many, many of the worldwide ratings. The next slide. It's very safe and clean for a city this size, which is about 1.5 million people now. It has a very low crime rate. One of the things that I've always said to people is that Calgary has all of the big city amenities without a lot of the big city problems. And, you know, anytime you get 1.5 million people together, of course, there's going to be some issues, but, you know, the social problems and the crime and those types of things that many cities of this size experience, fortunately, we don't deal with here. Weather and packing. So June 21st is when the convention starts. The daytime temperatures are going to be roughly about 20 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. They are long sunny days. So, of course, June 21st is the summer solstice. So it's the longest day of the year. And the sunset typically will go in literally. We have a grandstand show that night, which we're going to talk about, that we had to work our way backwards. The fireworks works. So it'll get dark on that day, probably, 10:30 at night. We talked about the dollar going a long way for Americans. One of the other advantages is that Alberta, the province of Alberta, has no provincial sales tax. Now, there is a federal goods and service tax of 5%, but there are no other sales taxes here. So it's a very, very good place to do some shopping and bring back home. Now, the location of the city is right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. And so many people talk about, and they've heard about the town of Banff and the parks of Banff, which is about hour west drive of the city. We are within a 2-hour drive of 5 World UNESCO heritage sites. We have all sorts of scenery and everything from like I say, the mountains to the west. We have the prairies to the east. There's a lot of agriculture around here as well. Somebody on another call had mentioned Heartland, the TV show Heartland, that's filmed here. And so a lot of the scenery that you see there, you can expect to see. We have, world-class attractions such as the Calgary Zoo. We hosted the 1988 Winter Olympics. So there's, some Olympic facilities and museums. The Calgary Stampede, like I mentioned, there's lots of arts and culture. So there isn't going to be a shortage of things to do. So like I say, we really hope you're going to come early and or stay late. So a lot of the questions that we get on a day-to-day basis have answers on our website, which is rotarycalgary2025.org. So really there are 2 primary websites that have information about Rotary conventions. The first one is the Rotary website, which is conventions.rotary.org. And that's where you would have registered for the convention. And also they have the hotels, which we'll get into a little bit. So that's really what you can use that website for. As far as all of the experiential things, the signature events, information about the city and such, you can get that at the rotarycalgary2025.org website. So we'll just take you through here a little bit. Darcy's got the mouse. So where do you want to start? Yeah, so basically, how to register now, getting down to business, your official invite. So that gives, if you click on that, that'll give you some information about, welcome to the city and a little bit about, the business and such. If you go under the looking for fun, this is our signature events. One of the things that we are very, very proud of is we have some amazing signature events that we're going to be offering, and we're going to get into more detail in just a second. But it all kicks off on June the 21st with our Grandstand Spectacular. And what I strongly, strongly suggest is that when you're making your travel arrangements to Calgary, be sure to arrive in the city with lots of time to make sure that you can make this event. So when you get to the Grandstand show, basically what it is it's an outdoor an outdoor event, which is going to have lots of music. There's going to be Indian horse races. There's going to be some lots of horses, lots of trick riding, lots of entertainment. One of the things that you're going to want to do there is Calgary is really famous for our white hats. The white hat is really the key to the city. And back in the 1950s, our mayor at the time started handing out white hats to people as opposed to the key to the city. And there are a lot of really famous people who have been white hatted in Calgary, everybody from Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney to sitting world leaders and royalty and movie stars from Marilyn Monroe to Kevin Costner and everything in between. So one of the things that we're doing during our Grandstand show is we are going to host the biggest white hat ceremony in Calgary's history, and we're going to have our mayor. We're going to have other dignitaries who are going to welcome Rotarians from around the world and make you honorary Calgarians. So when you go to the Grandstand show, one of the things that you'll want to do is pick up yourself a Smith-built Calgary hat, and you can get it on our website. It will be picked up in Calgary. So you purchase it, there's sizing charts on there. And I know that there's a little glitch in the system when you go to order it. It may ask you for a shipping address. We are not shipping it out. What we're doing is you will be picking it up in Calgary.
Hey, Craig.
Yep.
But something I'm not even sure we've shared it with you yet. So you might be in for a little shocker here. But we're working with Calgary Tourism to see if we can get the white hat ceremony entered into the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest white hat ceremony ever.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so make sure you're there, arrive early.
Here's your chance to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. So the next
can I ask, as long as you wear a white cowboy hat, that'll work if it's not the exact one?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Okay.
Yep. We're friendly that way. We don't judge people for their hats.
Am I correct? You pick up the hat at the BMO Center?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have a booth set up, and basically everybody will have a QR code you will receive prior to coming. That we just scan it, and you'll be able to pick up your hat that way. Very quick.
Is the hat being the official hat ceremony is one of the paid signature events, isn't it?
It's going to happen during the Grandstand show.
Okay.
Which is on June the 21st.
Okay.
So then on June the 22nd, we have a couple of events. So one of them is what's called Rock in the Big Four Roadhouse, and the other one is New Blood with the Calgary Civic Symphony. So basically, what this is Rock in the Big Four Roadhouse. We'll talk a little bit more about Stampede Campus as well. We'll get into a little bit more detail, but everything is happening really on one campus, and that's really unique for a Rotary convention. Our BMO Center Convention Center is directly across the street in walking distance to the Scotiabank Saddle Dome, where the Calgary Flames play, and we're going to be having all of our plenaries and such, opening and closing ceremonies. The grandstand is right there, the Big Four building where this roadhouse is. So everything's going to be in one place. Basically, what the Big Four Roadhouse is, or Rock in the Big Four Roadhouse, is it's an event called Rock the Nation. And it's the history of Canadian music going back to the 1950s. So it's literally starts with Paul Anka and goes through the Celine Dions and right up to 2025, and it is an amazing show. It's a fun event that it's pretty cool. I've seen it. The other event is the New Blood, which is going to be, it's the only event that we're actually holding off of the campus. However, it is on a train very close to, and it's going to be at the Jubilee Auditorium. And basically what it is it's a award-winning play that talks about the history of Indigenous in Canada and some of its history with residential schools and such. The music was actually put together by Peter Gabriel, who some of you may know used to be with Genesis, and he did all of the music, and it's an amazing event as well. The host hospitality has been sold out. So that is an event that happens in convention cities, and it really took off in Calgary. Calgary hosted the Rotary International Convention back in 1996. And everywhere that we go in the Rotary world and mention that we're from Calgary or involved with this convention, everybody says Calgary was the best convention they ever attended. And we ask them why, and they always say two things. They talk about the opening ceremonies, and they talk about host hospitality, where Rotarians basically open up their doors and invite people in. Like I say, this event has sold out, and there's a lot of interest in our other shows as well. So if you are interested in participating in these events, we suggest that you get on them pretty quick. And then we have the Western Ranch Showcase, which is, it's not a rodeo, but it has a lot of rodeo demonstrations. So for an example, there is going to be bull riding, there's going to be trick riding, there's going to be all sorts of demonstrations and such. It's an intimate venue. I think that it sits about 3,000 people. So it's a relatively small, new facility built for rodeo and such. So everybody's going to have a great intimate seat, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity as well. And one thing that we are working on for these is we are looking at having enhanced experiences, which include food and beverage as well. And that will be an add-on to these and completely optional to these events if somebody wants to have their dinner as well. And it works out good, because if you're going down to Rock the Nation, or you're going down to Western Ranch Showcase, instead of going out for dinner, you can actually have it right at the show. I talked a little bit about how Calgary is very fortunate to be located where it is. And we've put together a series of pre and post tours, pre-convention, post-convention, which gives everyone the opportunity to sign up and see the city, see the landscape before or after the convention. Now the various tours that we have range anywhere from about 12 days down to 1 day. So they're all listed on the site here. We have some Indigenous specific tours. If people are interested, we have some vocational tours where you can learn about agriculture and some of the things around and fellowship around Calgary. And we have day tours as well. Everything from going to the military Air Force Museum to food tours, to beer tours, to soccer tours, all sorts of things. And then, of course, here's the mountains. Everybody wants to go and see the mountains. One of the advantages to these tours right now is Calgary is going to be a very busy place. What we didn't know a couple of years ago is that the G7 conference will be held in Calgary, just west in the mountains, a week prior to our convention. So, everything from the US, Great Britain, all of the world leaders are going to be here. And with that, they bring a lot of media. There's going to be 6,000 to 8,000 media that are going to be in our city. So the reason I say this is because that does chew into a lot of the demand for hotels and such. And a lot of these tours do have pre-negotiated hotels and it might be a good opportunity to see the city and the region and save a little bit of money as well. So we do have some airline discounts for those who have not booked their flights yet, with both Air Canada and WestJet. Those are two national airlines, which of course Air Canada is associated with Star Alliance, so United and those types of things. WestJet is with Delta and KLM and such. So they do have code sharing agreements and those types of things. So regardless where you're coming from, you may be able to take advantage of these airline discounts. Flying into Calgary, we are fortunate that we are a hub for both Air Canada, Western hub for both Air Canada and WestJet. So really, to get to Calgary is very simple. You would have to be in a very remote place to not be able to get here in more than one stop someplace usually. So it's very convenient to get to. Just to give you a perspective of flight times and such, we're about 2 hours and 45 minutes to Los Angeles, about almost an hour to Seattle, Vancouver, and we're about 4 hours to Toronto in the east. So when it comes to accommodations, we're going to talk about a couple of things here. The first one is the official Rotary housing block. Then we have some other hotels that are outside of that block and such, and we'll get into that. So if you go to Rotary's website, again, convention.rotary.org, there will be the official hotels. The advantage to booking an official hotel is that Rotary will ensure transportation to and from the convention to the convention campus at Stampede Park. It's very easy to get there regardless, being on major train lines and such. But the other advantage is that the price that they have quoted on the Rotary site, it's all inclusive. It includes taxes, it includes any other, resort fees and those types of things. So the price that you see is what you pay. It includes Wi-Fi, and there is, in most of the hotels, there is either a complimentary breakfast or a discounted breakfast, and that's what Rotary's negotiated. I saw I was just going to answer that. I saw somebody had asked about public transportation. Just using your Rotary badge will give you the access to public transportation. So back to the official Rotary housing blocks. That is very fluid. So what I mean by that is you can log on to that site right now, ask to see the hotels, and there might be 2. You go back several hours later and there's 7. So the reason for that, I think, is because there were a lot of people who booked. They weren't really sure if they were going to come, or they didn't know where their friends were staying, so they booked a couple of locations or what have you. So if you booked someplace and it's or not, even if you're not at your ideal spot, keep going back to the official Rotary housing block, because if you booked your original accommodation through that block, you can cancel it without penalty, and you can pick up another room as well. What I would suggest, though, is book your preferred room before giving up the other one. But like I say, there's always fluid. Outside of the official housing block, there's lots of hotels, which Rotary did not negotiate prices with, and some of them go a little bit outside of the city. Again, a lot of those are going to be on transit lines, but Rotary, if it's not in the official block, Rotary is not, putting you on a bus route. We've also negotiated with some dorm rooms with both the University of Calgary and Mount Royal University. And, sometimes when you hear the word dorm rooms, you think of, maybe a college room, what it was like 30 years ago. They're not necessarily like that anymore. Some of the dorms are newer, very nice. They maybe have, some of them maybe have 4 bedrooms with a shared common area, which might be great for if you're traveling with another couple or what have you. There's also 2-bedroom suites, and these prices are really, really affordable. Two-bedroom apartments. I can't read that. What is it? Is that to say $60 per bedroom per night?
Yep, they're $59.95. Yep. Yeah.
So, and that's Canadian dollars again. So it's really quite affordable. The university,
for our American friends, that's like $20 a night.
Yeah, the Canadian peso.
Yeah.
The University of Calgary is right on a train line, which will go directly to the Stampede campus in downtown. The Mount Royal is close to public transportation, but it is not directly on the train line. Southern Alberta Institute of Technology SAIT is directly on the train line, which will take you downtown as well. Oh, and to the Stampede Park. Okay. Where are we at now?
I'm trying to. I'm just going to see if I can quickly find the campus. There we go.
Yeah, perfect. The big brown building that you see dead set in the middle, that is our new BMO Center convention hall. It was built literally, it has been open for less than a year, and it is gorgeous. It is top of the line. It's fabulous. You can kind of see the proximity to downtown. It is not very far. Like a lot of the downtown Calgary hotels, it's easily within walking distance. We are going to have, walking paths that are well lit with volunteers and those types of things for those that are interested. The train literally stops right outside of that campus. If you look down where you see the racetrack, that's the grandstand where the grandstand spectacular is. The Olympic Saddle Dome, the Scotiabank Saddle Dome is where the most is right now. That's where the plenaries are going to be, the opening closing ceremonies and the daily plenaries. Now, one of the things about this is if you look at the big construction site, where right there, right above the Saddle Dome, the Calgary Flames are building a brand new arena there. So that's taken up 10 acres of parking. So for those who are going to be driving, what we're suggesting, I mean, there is parking in the area, but because we're not allowing regular parking on Stampede Park, and it is going to be very limited. So any of the train stations have free parking, and Darcy right now has the most over the train station. Like literally, it drops off at the door. So if you park at any of the train stations, you can get on for free with your Rotary credentials, and you'll be able to take the train straight in. It was talking a little bit about weather, and I talked about the temperature, but one of the things that we should keep in mind is that at this time of year, there can be fluctuations in the weather. So, be prepared, dress for, very pleasant days, but it can get hot and, into the 30s or 90 degrees. It can also rain, and have cool evenings. So you do, at this time of year, you really do need to, pack for all seasons, I guess.
We didn't want to tell people that we've been known to be skiing at the end of June, the odd year, did we?
No. Although that does happen at high elevations in the mountains, but you are right. That 1 year, I'm thinking back about 25, 30 years ago, they actually opened up one of the ski resorts on Canada Day, which is July the 1st, so that people could ski. It was a novelty thing, and the snow wasn't great, but you could do it. So everything's possible here. Mobility issues, somebody just put in here. The fact that these facilities are new, the train stations, with the train station outside the BMO has been completely rebuilt. All of the trains are accessible. The BMO Center, being a year old, they were very, very, that was top of mind. So it's all very accessible. The Saddle Dome is the one that is kind of challenging, and that does not mean that there isn't accessible seating, because there is, but it's not as much as some of the newer arenas, and hence why they're building the new one across the street. But yes, you are not going to have any mobility issues in Calgary. It's a very accessible city. What Darcy has on the screen here is you can sign up for the host organizing committee newsletter. So you just put in your name and email, and you'll be the first person to hear about anything new or anything that we think you should know.
So we'd encourage you, as soon as you get off today, to go register for the newsletter. There's a couple of things we already know we're going to be sending out, and what we've decided to do is that anything new that we need to announce, and I'm going to ask Craig to talk in a moment about the pancakes for polio breakfast. Those types of things, the first people in Rotary's world that are going to hear about them are going to be people that sign up to this newsletter.
Perfect, thank you. And while we're doing that, while you mentioned the pancake breakfast, one of the things that Calgary is famous for, and again going back to 1912, what they did is they pulled up the chuck wagons, which was how they fed people back in the ranching days, and they would literally pull out their stoves and start serving breakfast to people, and that is a tradition that has stuck around for over 110 years. And literally, during the Calgary Stampede, the 10-day, I was talking to the CEO of the Stampede, and he was telling me that they served 240 breakfasts in different locations throughout the city during the Calgary Stampede last year. And we thought that it would be a great opportunity to offer that as an experiential event. It's free. It's literally going to be outside the doors of the Saddle Dome and the BMO Center, and it's going to be on the day of the opening ceremony. So kind of in between the opening and the first and second session. So whether you're going on your way in or your way out, you can have some pancakes and there's going to be music and there's going to be entertainment, and it's all for free. It's all experiential. We did brand it Pancakes for Polio, in that some champions in our district thought that it would be a great opportunity to bring awareness to Rotary's bigger project, and there are optional opportunities to do donations if you wish. But again, it's a free experiential event. And that's one of the things we're trying to do. In a lot of cities, an event like the Rotary International Convention can get lost. You know, we've all been to conventions for Rotary or other organizations where you get a block or two away from the convention center and you have no idea that it's going on. This is going to be a big deal here. You know, it is a big deal for our city. Everybody from the airlines, you know, there'll be entertainment at the airport. There's going to be, entertainment on the train stations, downtown. You know, we're really looking for a lot of experiential opportunities, and our goal as a host organizing committee is to make sure that from the time you get off your plane or drive into the city to the time that you get back on your plane, you know, A, that you're in Calgary, you're going to know, B, that the Rotary International Convention is going on, and we're going to create an exceptional experience for you.
Cool, Craig. So I've turned off the website. Thank you for covering all of that. I'm gonna pull up some questions and throw them at you. Are you ready? Oh yeah. Yep. So there's been a couple of questions in the chat about US dollars. Can you just comment on currency exchange or the use of US dollars at Canadian businesses? Yeah, so of course, the Canadian dollar is the major currency here. Most locations will accept US dollars, at the establishment, and they will give you an exchange rate, but it's probably not going to be the same exchange rate you would get at the bank and such. Coming with your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, your credit cards, they're accepted everywhere. There's bank machines everywhere. If you have a debit card or whatever, you can use that at most places. So what I would suggest is that you can get by using your credit card. I can't remember the last time I had cash. Pretty much anywhere that you go, and but if you want to get Canadian currency, you can drop into any bank machine, and they're all over the city, and you can take out money. Cool. If you're international, they probably, your bank may charge you additional fees, but it is what it is. Awesome, thanks. Can you comment on restaurants, etc., at the BMO Center? Okay, so that's one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we took care of is having good food and such. We're going to have a beer garden. I'll mention that first because that's the most important to a lot of Rotarians. Right on there. But there's going to be some food trucks. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for international food. If somebody wants vegetarian food, it'll be available. There's going to be standard concessions, food, hot dogs, hamburgers. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be, there's fine dining nearby. And so there is good selection. Right off of Stampede Park,
there's 17th Avenue, which is a walking distance, and it's full of brew pubs and restaurants and anything that you could need. You get a train stop, 2 train stops north. You're right, literally in downtown Calgary, and one of the things that we are doing and have done is we've reached out to all of the restaurants and the businesses to make sure that they know that we're coming to town and to be ready for us. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, here's a good question. Must we get the Smith built hat, or will any white hat be okay?
Yeah, like I say, any white hat will be fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm going to keep going down here. How do we find out, how do we find or get the location of our host hospitality evening?
That they are in the midst right now of doing the matching, or they will be in the next week or so. And you will be contacted directly by the host or the host hospitality team, and they will let you know about your where you're going to be.
Okay, perfect. Are there any dress up events?
There is. Our events, the signature events are casual for the most part. I do know that Rotary has some official events, like there's President's Dinner and those types of things, which are going to be on the convention.rotary.org website. So yeah, that's and there's going to be, one of the other things is there's lots of unofficial affiliated events as well. So this is typically you'll know about it if you get invited. Like what they do sometimes is they'll have all of the district governors of a particular year will get together. People from different countries will get together. I know that the African dinner is 800 and some odd people. So if you do get invited to any of the unaffiliated events, or you're part of the group that does that, they're going to have varying levels of dress code. The one at the Jubilee Auditorium, the one signature event really that we have that is play, and with the civic symphony and such, of course, would be more of a elevated experience than perhaps getting your boots in the dirt at some of the other ones. So I guess to answer your questions, there are tons of events going on. The unaffiliated events, there's a website that lists those. I don't have the link here off the top of my head. Linda might know. Yeah, there's going to be lots of stuff to go on. There's lots of nice restaurants in town. There's no shortage of things to do or dress up.
So I got a question here. It's a long one, Craig, I'm going to ask, but before I ask it, I'm going to ask everybody who's been to a Rotary convention before. Can you put up your hand, your virtual hand for us, or some kind of hand? Okay. So it looks like a number of you have. So you might know the answer to this. Craig, here's the question. What is included in our registration fee? Are there any meals included? Where do I find the list of sessions? And how does the app work?
Okay, so included in the price is of course, admission into the House of Friendship, all of the plenary sessions at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome, all of the breakout sessions that are going to be happening throughout the event. So basically, it does not include any meals. It doesn't include any meals, but it basically includes all of the Rotary branded events, which are being held at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome and at the BMO Center. So the breakout sessions this year, they had a record number of applications. They had over 370 people had applied to speak, and they narrowed that down to about 70. So the Rotary team is telling us that this is going to be one of the strongest breakout sessions groups that they've ever had. So basically, when you go to the breakout sessions, you're going to, oh yeah, there's the agenda. Great, thank you for that. So yeah, so on June 21st, we have the grandstand show. The opening ceremonies are happening on the June the 22nd. You are going to be notified by Rotary by the end of the month, hopefully, whether you're going to be in the first ceremony or the second one. All throughout the entire sessions, you're going to be getting an app, which was mentioned here, and you'll be able to download it. There's going to be free Wi-Fi all throughout the BMO Center and all throughout the Saddle Dome and such. And you'll have an opportunity. That's basically going to be your schedule. So it'll tell you that you know, what breakout sessions are going on, and they'll maybe have like 4 or 5 of them going on at any particular time. So you can pick ones that are of interest to you, and they don't reserve. You know, they do come, like in Rotary, it's first come, first serve. So if there's something that you are interested in, just make sure that you get there a little bit early. But for the most part, they don't sell out. The only exception to that, and I've heard this at several other conventions in the past, is that the ones that are designed for the incoming presidents, district governors and such, that one does sell out. Not sell out because you just show up, but that one does fill up very quickly. So all of this, at this entire time, on the House of Friendship is going to be open. It's all in the same building. And the House of Friendship, basically what that is it is it's a big show that's separated into several different there's like an entertainment component where there's going to be a stage with entertainment. There's going to be a retail component where you're going to have you know, Rotary branded stuff. You're going to have some Calgary's specialty retailers are going to be there. There's going to be a section where they talk about the 7 avenues of service. So you could, you know, have a water and sanitation area, and they're going to have peace poles, and they're going to have, we're doing a big Indigenous pavilion, which is going to have Indigenous people talking about their experiences and sharing you know, stories from elders. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on, and you can come and go to that as you choose. You know, so, and in between the breakout sessions, there's only 2 opening on the opening ceremonies. That's the only day that there's a morning and an afternoon big session at the Saddle Dome. The rest of them just have you know, one general session in the day, and then of course the closing ceremonies on June the 25th. The app, again, will, when you get here, you can download it. You may very well be able to download it before that. If you just go to you know, the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and type in Rotary, you may be able to download it before that. I'm sure you can. Well, I know you can because I have it on my phone, but when they update the information, I'm not sure. But likely before you arrive, it will be have all of the information there so you can plan your trip. Did I answer all the questions?
Oh, we got a few more, and we got 5 minutes left. So I'm gonna.
No. I did for that person's.
Oh, yes, I think you did. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Can you comment a little? So I know you talked a little bit about how Rotary name badges get people on the transit network across the city for the convention. Can you comment a little bit about, will there be transportation from hotels near the Calgary airport to downtown, or will transportation downtown be from the airport only?
No, there, if you're staying at an airport hotel that's an official Rotary hotel, then there will be transportation. And even if you're staying, what I would say is, even if you're staying at a non-Rotary official hotel that's in the area, just go to a Rotary official hotel and you'll be able to get on a bus that way.
Cool. Where and when can we pick up our Rotary credentials?
That is going to happen at the BMO Center at the convention hall, and it's opening up on Saturday. I believe, I should double check that. It might even be Friday, but I believe that it's Saturday.
It's Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Paul's wondering what day summer is in Calgary. And Paul, there's at least 3 days of summer in Calgary.
Yeah. I don't know when summer officially starts. It's in June at some point. But let's see.
I think it's the 21st.
Yeah, I think it very well could be.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Well, of course it is. So we're gonna have fun with you. One more question about parking. We have some folks, Martin is driving up from California. They have some mobility issues. Is there handicap parking near the BMO Center? Did I lose Craig? Linda, I think I lost Craig. So I'll take a stab at this. There will be some handicap parking near the BMO Center. I can't tell you exactly where that is right now, Martin, but you know what? If you do us a favor, send us an email to RotaryCalgary2025.org, and Linda will get that email and we'll find out some specifics for you. Rick, I got your question here about what do the partners of Rotarians do while they're at the convention? Well, they go to all of those pubs, which open at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's one thing that they can be doing. But if you were to go over to, so there's a couple of things. First of all, Rotary is really encouraging us to bring our partners to the convention, encouraging them to buy passes, attend the workshops, etc. If you go onto the website and you go to pre and post tours and go take a look at that tour site, you'll see that there's day tours and afternoon tours that are happening on the days of the convention. So of course you could go participate in one of those tours, but you know, you can very easily get around downtown particularly. So within walking distance of the convention, the zoo is a bit of a longer walk, but you could get over to the zoo. You can get down to Princess Island. You can get into the downtown. You can go down 17th Avenue. So there's a lot of activity that they could participate in right within downtown. And then I see Craig is back, so I'll add this on and then I'm going to throw it at him. The other thing is very easy for people to get to the major shopping centers that are in the city. So we've been working with Calgary Tourism almost since the beginning on putting together the program for this. And Calgary Tourism is actually putting together what they're calling an experience pass. So we're going to start sharing details about that experience pass with Rotarians in the next couple of weeks. But that will include incentives to go visit different shops around the city and some of those major shopping centers that are around Calgary. So, Craig, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, actually, you hit it on the head. Yeah, there's lots of great shopping right in the core downtown. There's a question here about what train line is it on? It's on the red line, and the red line basically goes up from the University of Calgary, actually beyond that, but you know, right through downtown, down to the Chinook Center. So there's shopping. The largest shopping center in Calgary is 2 train stops south. And if you go probably 3 train stops north into downtown, there's many shopping centers and such, and restaurants and such.
Do you have a C train?
Yes.
And where does the C train, if you want to start off the day and register, where do you go? I'm in an Airbnb. And I'm 20 minutes from the city.
You're 20 minutes from the city? Well, it depends on where you're staying. Maybe what we can do is stick around and we can deal with this. I'll find out where you're staying, and maybe at the end we can answer that specific question. I can help you navigate it.
Okay.
There's a question about what building is the Sergeant at Arms office going to be located in. Do we have that information just yet?
Yes, it's going to be in the BMO Center.
Okay. Perfect.
Which is the main hall.
Okay. And where is the Hall of Fellowship going to be?
That's probably the House of Friendship.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's in the BMO Center as well. Everything, like I say, this is a brand new convention center. It's over 1 million square feet. It's going to house everything. Everything to do with the convention, with the exception of our one signature event, is happening on Stampede Park. Like I say, within a short walk between the buildings, but probably 90% of the events are going to be happening inside the one building.
Yeah, and there's a few comments here about a meeting app. I know you've already touched on that, Craig. You can expect the meeting app from Rotary International in the next few weeks. Yeah. So you might be able to download the app today, but then what they'll do is they'll push out the content for the app for this convention. So if you've been to a convention before and you've downloaded the app, it's probably still on your phone and you can probably still access the agendas for those conventions. They'll send out the Calgary one here in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Craig, where do we pick up our info packs? BMO or hotel?
BMO.
Okay. How do we get your train pass and where?
So you don't actually need to get a train pass. It's just you show your badge. Now that kind of
What's the badge? Where do we get that?
That's the badge is what the Rotary one with your name on it that gets you into all of the events for Rotary. So basically, it's a lanyard that when you arrive at BMO Center and you've registered, you go to the registration desk and they give you a welcome package and your name badge that has a magnetic code in it, which you can scan to get into all of the events. So all you need to do is you don't have to have tickets. Just if you have that with you, you can access the public transportation for free.
So Craig, there's a question here. Do we need any BC Rotary volunteers? I know yesterday in our HOC meeting, we were talking that we haven't met our BC Rotary volunteer quota yet. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so I'm glad somebody brought that up. One of the very unique experiences that people share in conventions is people will go and they'll volunteer with the host organizing committee, and basically we wouldn't ask you to spend your entire convention time here, but if you wanted to pick up a 4-hour shift, for an example, it is a very unique. It's a Rotary tradition. Lots of people do it. It's a very unique opportunity to serve and to see the convention from a little bit of a different aspect, and you get to meet volunteers from all over the world. If you're interested in volunteering, if you go to the RotaryCalgary2025.org website, there is a tab that says, I want to serve or whatever, and you can sign up to be a volunteer right there.
So I think this will be our last question, Craig. Actually, and then we'll come to Rachel. This is the last one in the chat. So Kathy's comment is, until we pick up our badge, which we need to do at the BMO Center, we have to pay for our transportation.
I would say, technically, I would suggest that if this is being recorded, right? I would suggest, pause it. I would suggest that if you, buses, perhaps you may get a little bit more challenged, but if you get onto a train, If you get asked by somebody, you just explain that you're on the convention and what you're doing, and it's not going to be a problem. If you do, you hunt me down and I'll take care of it.
I was just gonna say, if that doesn't work, we'll give you Craig's phone number and he'll deal with it.
Yeah, the city has been very accommodating. I said it earlier that this is a big deal to the city, and the city has been very good partners for us, and they're not out to they want this to be an amazing experience for our guests, just as we do.
All right, Rachel.
They're not going to trip over that.
You get the last question. Rachel with her hand up and on mute.
Oh, thank you very much.
There we go.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not on camera for some few reasons, but I'm calling from Mississauga. I just have a question about the event of some pre-event for the Rotary exchange students. Yeah, because there is a delay of reply after the payment. I don't know what is taking place.
Yeah, so the pre-convention for youth exchange. So your question is that you had paid for it, but you have not heard from the organizers. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
If you want to maybe just give Linda in your chat your email address, we can maybe reach out and make sure that somebody gets a hold of you. That isn't on our department. Like, we're the host organizing committee, and just so everybody knows, because in Rotary there's tons of acronyms and HOC and all of that. What we are is there's really two organizations that put on a convention. There's Rotary International, of course, and the way that I always explain it is that they're responsible for what happens with their official programs and what happens inside of the Saddle Dome and the BMO Center and such. What we are and the official programs like the YX pre-convention. What our job is the experiential, and we're mostly locals and local Rotarians and such. And so what we try to do is make sure that you have an amazing time and a great experience.
All right. Thank you, Craig, for doing another webinar with Linda and I. So I really appreciate your time today, and really thank you for giving everybody a really good overview around what they can expect when they come to Calgary. Linda, thank you as always for getting us organized and everything. And of course, want to thank everybody that joined us this evening. We hope you found this to be informative.
Sorry to intervene.
Yeah.
This is Sandra away from Sweden. I'm inquiring about the email. Linda's email, so we can reach out to her, because we did a payment, but it's not confirmed yet though. So I'm just I'm inquiring.
Yeah, if you look
about
at
the payment, how to to the process, the whole process.
Yeah, so if you look in the chat, if you can see it, you can just send an email to Linda at info@rotarycalgary2025.org. So
at info. Is it Linda at info?
No, just info.
Info.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
So
Linda, can you please place it in the chat, please?
So
I did. Yeah, I did.
All
but
right,
I'll do it again because it's popped up now.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. What we'll do is, I think there, was it Christine who had a question about the train? Maybe she's dropped off. So you know what we'll do? We'll stick around for a couple more minutes if there's any more questions, but in the meantime, we don't have anything formal to go through with you. Thank you all for making time today. Of course, if you would like to come back to another webinar, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you in Calgary in 37 days.
And thank you, Darcy, for putting this on, and thank you for everybody that attended. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Question.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're going to
Thank
be
you.
arriving on Friday.
Okay.
We are staying at a RI hotel. Will the buses be able to transport us on Friday to the hotel, or nothing happens till Saturday?
Nothing happens until Saturday. The one thing that I should clarify is that Rotary does not provide transportation to and from the airport. What they provide is they provide transportation from the official hotel block to the convention campus and back. So
thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have Uber and Lyft and lots of cabs and those types of things too. There's another hand up.
I think that's a hangover hand from Rachel, but Martin's got his hand up.
Okay.
Oh, you're on mute there, Martin.
Oh, you're still on mute. Oh, there you go.
Okay, sorry. The question was starting to be addressed before, but Craig apparently was off, wasn't connected. We're going to be driving from California, and our hotel is about 12 miles away. It's not in the official block.
Okay.
So we're going to be driving to the events.
Okay.
We have mobility issues. So my wife cannot walk long distances. Will there, I know there was a comment about parking in the train stations, but is that can we use that even though we're not using the train?
Yeah. Where are you staying? If you don't.
We're staying, it's the Hampton, I think it's called University Northwest. It's something like 12 miles to the west.
Oh yeah, that would be 12 kilometers.
Well, 12 kilometers. Okay, that's
Yeah.
even closer, obviously.
Yeah. So from there,
I'm just looking something up here, Craig.
Okay. I think that's by COP.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just talking to Darcy. I think it's by the Ken Olympic Park.
Hampton. Is it Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton, Calgary University Northwest?
That's the one.
That's
Yes.
one.
Okay, so that's Motel Village.
Yeah, so that'll be right on the C train.
It's right on the train line.
Well, that's if we take the train. My wife has trouble climbing up steps of any sort, including onto a train. Assuming for the moment that we have to drive to and from the events, will there, and she has a handicap placard. Will there be parking somewhere near the BMO Center?
Like I say, it is limited. So what I would do is, RI does have some stalls that they've secured. What I would do is send an email to the registration people at RI and just explain that situation to them, and they'll be able to answer your question directly.
Okay. All
because that's out of our control. I know that RI has contracted some parking stalls nearby, but just when you get there, I would take a look at the to get on and off the train from your hotel is both at ground level. There's no stairs in other case. So when you get there, maybe just take a look at it and you'll know whether or not it'll work for you or not. But that
I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
It might be an easy solution for you.
Well, thank you. I will check that out then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Appreciate it.
No worries.
All righty. Very good. Thanks, everybody.